Welcome everyone to Stone Soup Poetry. I am Chad Parento, and yes, this is not a hairpiece. This is my new hat, which is the same as the old hat I had over a decade ago. I bought it at Rennie's in Maine back in the day, and unfortunately lost it on the bus like an idiot. My girlfriend recently went back up to Anchorage by the Sea up in Maine with her sister. So I asked her, please hit Rennie's, and she got me this and a couple of nice little things from the local bakeries. Never had lobster stew before, but I just had that today, and she gave me it's such an amazing portion. It's almost unnecessarily expensive unless you know the market price of lobster. So I only had half of it because I feel like if I eat this much something this expensive, I'm gonna feel bloated just on the on the cost of it alone. But my girlfriend rocks the hat far better than I do, but she's might have a wool allergy and it itches her head. So I am lucky to be. I'll be sporting this tomorrow on the bus and elsewhere. No, James Landloy, you're copying me. In all seriousness, thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. I'm trying to use a little levity, but for those of you who are tuning into this video on YouTube, we do have sad news to report. I had been noting that Nancy Dodson had been missing multiple Stone Soups, and we found out that she passed away on February 5th. The eulogy was handed out, emailed by Mr. Tom Daly, who had worked with her in a workshop capacity at the Boston Center for Adult Education, and was very impressed by her work. The Grolier Poetry Bookstore is selling her two books, Animal Lore and Collected Poems, 1970 to 2000. Nancy Dodson was also one of the readers for the 35th anniversary Stone Soup special, and that might have been the last time I ever saw her at the Stone Soup. It's hard for me to remember because I didn't have a camera in those days, so the memory's getting faulty. But luckily, we do have, thanks to videographers like Bill Perot, we do actually have the footage of Carol's feature. Carol's feature is what's up on YouTube right now, but I'll try and get the mini feature for Nancy up hopefully by the end of this week. And I guess this is kind of an impromptu tribute to her as well. She was an active participant on the online open mic. She loved to participate, loved to read. I would send her the codes to get in by phone on a regular basis. I found out she had email because she did send me some work, but then I was always wondering if I wanted to send her the Zoom and have her go through the trouble or just keep it going by phone. So I kept it going by phone. And I wish we had seen her a few more times. The old guard's going down, but Nancy kept on kicking and fighting to the end to contribute her voice and her poem. Uh, her poem "War" is up today on oddballmagazine.com. I was glad to contribute photography to that. Not much else to say except we're gonna keep on going through the open mic. I thank everyone who came tonight, and I thank everyone who is not here and sent condolences through the Facebook post earlier today. And now the Roundinator 5000 is going to select the first participant, and no surprise, it is Rita Rusty Rose.
Thank you. Tonight I'm going to dedicate my poem to Nancy, my latest poem, Illumine. Night scatters, warms the feet of soap dreams. Windswept stars settle on lilac clouds. Their spiky heads lilt southward as they gaze upon Mars. From the summit of a new dawn, creamsicle suns, ripe as cantaloupe, melt obscurity. On high, red-winged shadows riddle ultraviolet skies. They perch atop sandstone archways, squawk at tomorrow's edge. Within the recesses of twilight, multifarious souls repose, brushed with fate. They wait for another radiant go.
Thank you, Rita. Up next, the Randonator has chosen Mrs. Jan Rowe. Who unfortunately had to grab her papers. And there you go.
Nancy had us over for Christmas Day lunch, and she had a doctor staying there, Shay. And Shay was from Iran, and she's emergency room doctor, and you can't be a doctor in Iran, really. It was a very nice luncheon that they fixed for us. Okay, this is a draft, untitled. Warm sunset, mid-1970s, bike riding to distress along Land's End Road, Centerville, Queen Anne's County, Maryland's Eastern Shore. I cycled on the macadam or the paved road with absolutely no one around. And I cycled past a break in the cornfield to my right. The Chester was ultimately to my left. So the break in the cornfield was for a drainage or irrigation ditch. And as I cycled by a bit down the ditch, a deer leaped over. So I was just in time to see that deer leap that ditch as I rode by on my bicycle. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. We're going to do 2 round robins tonight, same as normal. I'm going to bring up next, or rather the Randonator is Mr. Robert Fleming. Pastone soup. Oh, did he leave? He left. Good Lord. Oh, has to go to sleep study. Good Lord. Okay. Let's go next to Mr. Bill Lewis.
Oh my goodness gracious, oh, it's my turn. I'm so excited. There's nothing as good as being on Stone Soup with my favorite people and the most wonderful Chadford and of course the Randonator. I really feel that the Randonator understands me. It knows when I just have that need to be on. And then at that moment, the Randonator turns to me and says, Bill, it's time for you to step forward. So, behind me right here, this is the poetry area in San Juan, Puerto Rico, because I was there. And so I went into this place and it is called the Poets Passage. There it is. Check that out. How cool is that? So they have this beautiful building all dedicated to poetry and art and cool stuff. So yay, go San Juan, which really should be Puerto Rico. It's not quite clear, but originally, obviously, the rich port was the city and the island was San Juan. And then like 50 years into it, some guy switched the two of them. It wasn't even a big deal, and boom, it's all messed up. So that has so yeah, I went on a trip, and let me read some of my beautiful poetry to you. I had the glorious opportunity to be teaching class, high school over Zoom, which I do, and on my laptop in the airport in San Juan and on a bench. And yeah, I was teaching in lots of places. Thank you for the class, Mr. Lewis. Yes, thanks for the lesson. I love my kids. They make me happy. I love to teach. I feel so snappy. They think I'm silly. I'm so excited. Each day an adventure, and I can't hide it. I float in dreams of their success, of their brilliance, of their zest. I leave the world a better place than when I found it. That's the case. With those as leaders of the future, the world will be fine. Of this, I'm certain. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. We'll go with that.
Thank you, Bill. Just admitting Brian Franco. Glad to have him join us. He takes a little bit, so we'll give him time. And we'll go next to Mr. Mookie Johnson. I think that's Ken Johnson, but however he likes to call himself. Go Mookie, go Mookie, go.
Yeah, I figured I'd live a little this year. I should have made it Magic Johnson or 12-inch Johnson. That would have been more appropriate. So, what I have for you tonight is called the moving pictures. You'll pardon me, I haven't practiced this, but when I talk about the moving pictures, they are these. So, the moving pictures. The pictures seem to move about as if so on their own. The dusting of a table necessitates their removal to another, or the cleaning of a spill mandates their evacuation to a temporary refuge that becomes permanent by neglect. In one, a grass lawn park, my grandmother, dressed in a business jacket and skirt. My father wears the baseball hat of a kid in pre-war 1930s. He could be Leo Gorsey's sidekick, or a walk-on East Side dead-end Bowery boy. But this was the only picture in which he was so cast. Here his face is that of my elder brother. In the other, they sit on the house steps of that our great-grandfather bought and handed down through the generations behind its stucco facade. And boy, can you get stucco, say the magic word. Older herein, his face is that of my eldest brother, I being third of four. Their resemblances leaving no doubt of both brothers' paternal progeny. She used to visit us and clean, and always moving about until she died. He worked at the phone company days, electrified old lamps with sockets and wire on weekends, bringing back the light of old times. What I could capture a long exposure of then, they would be a blur about that house. Unmoving now, but days when for the dust I must rouse. Today their ashes lay under grass with those of our mother and fourth brother in a yard shared by old friends and Neil Simon, barefoot in the park, unmoving, but that they move in my heart and when I'm cleaning. She and he, my growing parent at an age when I was young. Thank you.
Thank you, Mookie. I think of that. I think of that name. When I think of that name, I think of the famous poem "Walk of Life" by Jack Powers, dedicated to Bill Buckner, where he describes that.
Ah, that's the Mookie Johnson.
Yes, the penultimate one of his penultimate lines was, "And there comes barreling someone moving faster than anyone named Mookie has a right to be." So, it's
Well,
an
that's
amazing.
for tonight. I'll find something for next week.
Up next, I'm hoping Brian Franco can go because we're very low on people who want to read. Some people are just here to observe. So if the Generalissimo can come to the front lines.
Sure. Why not? Okay. Can I share the screen there?
Yeah. Let me. I'm sorry. Robert left, so I have no one to pester me about screen shares. Give me one sec.
I usually don't
Okay, you're
have.
good.
Okay, so I'm professing my love to Rusty Rose. No, I'm not doing that. I've already done that plenty of times to her, and she understands that it's unrequited. So from I understand it's unrequited from my end. Okay, so let's go ahead and share the screen. This is the Lipstick Building in New York City. Not sure if that shows up really small on your screen. It does on mine. And let me get this poem real quick. Where is it? It's called Lipstick Building. Rumor has it the architect watched a woman putting on lipstick in a cafe as he sipped espresso. She placed the cap on the oval cylinder and sat it atop the table. It seemed to tower over the sugar packets. He noticed her lips were a rich burgundy rather than bright red. When a man arrived whom he assumed was her date, she tapped the tube of lipstick thrice on the table, then placed it in her purse. That tube of lipstick became a 34-storied maroon monument to a woman whose name the architect would never learn. Let's see what I have next. I wrote this today in a workshop. I kept a couple of your old voicemail messages on my phone for almost 2 years after your death. I'd pull them from my cell phone's memory whenever I was triggered by some arbitrary event via tenterhooks embedded by our history. I'd listen to your voice saying stuff like, I guess you either aren't near your phone or you're screening calls. And if you call me back, it just might be worth your while. You never had to try to make me smile when you were alive. And it makes sense you made me laugh and cry every time after you were gone. Then I wrote this today and another thing. Let's get to it. It was after the William Carlos Williams poem about the plums. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. Upon discovering a time machine in your basement, I knew all the leftover Chinese takeout in your fridge could provide an opportunity. I found a small container of plum sauce, made my way to the basement, walked into your little invention, sat down, buckled up, dialed a knob to a month ago. Everything spun and shook, then was still. The plum sauce was now a ripe plum I could not help myself but to bite into. Its juice cascaded down my chin and stained the white undershirt I was wearing. I returned to the present while you slept. The next morning at breakfast, you complained that there was no plum sauce for you to dip your cold dumpling in. And I'll do one more poem. I think that's all I have up. Yep, that's all I have up. And this is called My Apologies for This Poem. Why do I apologize for so many things that don't require apologizing? I apologize for recounting the fact that I apologize for things I should not apologize for. When other people apologize for something they shouldn't apologize for, I tell them that I forgive them, but there was no reason for them to apologize to me. How did we become a society of apologists? To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm using the word apologist in its correct connotation, so I apologize if I am not using the word apologist in its correct connotation. I will not Google the definition of the word apologist. I guess that means I am lazy. I guess I apologize for being too lazy to Google the definition of apologist. I keep misspelling apologist with two P's instead of one, and I misspell with one S instead of two. I guess I need to apologize for all my misspellings. Oops, I misspelled both words. Again, I apologize. Thank you.
I enjoy the Williams Carlos Williams reference. was actually going over that recently. There was a challenge that's, I think it was a local challenge around the slam community where they were trying to say famous poems as briefly as possible. And the most famous one I heard from that time was called Minimal Frost, which was Rick McIntyre's, and it's Minimal Robert Frost, where he just goes road, woods, fuck. I enjoyed it so much. I did minimal Williams for minimal William Carlos Williams. Mine was plums. Mine. Fuck off. Not as compact as McIntyre's, but I did enjoy that. Mr. Jeff Taylor, host and organizer, or one of the co-hosts and organizers of the Controverse open mic in Malden. Mr. Taylor, would you be interested in going? We have a very sparse open mic tonight, and we have people who are just here to observe. So if you're interested, there you
Yeah,
are.
I could probably read something. I'm just cooking dinner right now. I've got broccoli and pasta going.
Oh, nice.
Could you get? I'm like right at the finishing point here of
All
it.
right,
If
let
I
me go
could just
to. All right, I'll go
go
to James Van
go
Loy.
somebody else.
Sounds good. All right, one sec. Let's go to Mr. James Van Loy.
Hi, Chad. So
Hello.
I've got,
Nice hat.
thank you. Yeah, so I have a piece here. So finally I see, as if they, the someone of eternal myth of success, so great you live in a separate world, and so suddenly anything can be done to anyone. The bureaucratic bait and switch that can't give you that much and then can't give cash. That's the place you get sent to. So everything is possible. And the old man with an alms box is back up in his old place on the roof of the museum, which is an old man's poorhouse, and then an orphanage. When he was brought inside with the girls and the boys, and he certainly didn't want to scare little kids, and was there when I first saw him decades ago. But now I look on last time to see he can no longer fall on us. Someone bolted him in the back to the wall again. So anyway, that's about a statue that is still now up at the Franz Hals Museum in Harlem, Holland, where my grandparents came from. So that was my discovery, that they had taken him from the entrance area and put him back up there again. And I actually had just gotten a poem from my cousin, who actually uh, listed it as in his book, and actually wrote it down in the 1920s about this poem of a statue giving his dramatic about what his life story had been, first outside and then inside the orphanage. So anyway,
Thank you so much, James.
off. That's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, go. Keep
ahead.
going. Keep going.
That's okay.
There was a lull, so keep on going.
All right. I'm just looking for something here. I'm just looking for a quick song. I had it and I lost it. Sometimes that happens with these old notebooks. Oh, I know what I want. This is a Dutch song, and it's actually kind of in Belgian. It's in Flanders, Flemish. Is het is toy, gemoek veta, apakat van matteke pier, maar die zijn ik weit versleten, en ik vlieg kan niet meer. In de tijd ik niks is prijzen, nor kweveen op nor pointje, viel ik somtijds in de prijzen, met de appeared on zee. Oh, meine blaue Geschaufte, Geist an mein Lieblingsschweif. Oh, meine blaue Geschaufte, geliegt in der bovenste Schweif. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Ik had a duive kattelifke. It was a vinnig and a nap. Moord moest soms op a dipke, spelen op a vitooskap, en dan vloog het voor te vinden. Ik whoop om a lifke zijn, kwam ik dan eens iets te pinnen. Dat was duive katte klein. Oh, meine blaue Geschaufte, Geist an mein Lieblingsduif. Oh, meine blaue Geschaufte, geliegt in der bovenste Schweif. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Ik ben dan oud en ik ben versleten, dat vervorden en duif niet mee. Alle man is mij vergeten, er is die nog zei. Oh, meine blaue Geschaufte, Geist an mein Lieblingsduif. Oh, meine blaue Geschaufte, geliegt in der bovenste Schweif. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Gezeken pakkat, de krak van mijn kat. Thank you. And of course, that is actually about a guy with his dove. His dove, what would be the right word? What's the word what do doves live in? Sorry. Well, I'm taking up time tonight. Sorry about that.
Thank you so much, James. Jeff, if you're ready, we can go now, or we have someone else who could go.
I can go.
Okay.
I've got a poem that I want to share that's from Sam Sachs from his book Bury It. It's available through Wesleyan University Press, and I just picked up this book recently. It's really good, and this one poem here that I thought was pretty extraordinary, wanted to read to everybody. Sam Sachs again is the poet. Tons of great books of poetry, that guy. So I really suggest looking him up. It's silly missing anyone who lives. Or maybe the opposite. You can only miss the living in a way that ferries marrow up your spine in one furious red curtain. Or no, the dead, they're the ones that open the asphalt for ghost buses to pour forth from covered ink black names scrawled across the windows. Paint thick names, names so dark inside you can blink or be blinded or die and be unable to tell the difference. I miss everyone all the time. My room's a coffin with one glass wall. Outside there's a parade to welcome me. The horns are so bright and blood drunk you might think something was being born. The bullet tore through my neighbor's brain like a nail through a fig. I began to love him. Only once the ambulance sang into the radio singed stillness. The street after was empty as a body when the soul climbs out of the hole in its head and becomes a god. That was Missing Persons by Sam Sachs.
Thank you very much, Jeff. And completing this first round of the round robin, which grew a little quite a bit. So I'm happy to hear that, to see, hear, and see that. Let's welcome up Mr. Cece Chagra.
Okay, great. I'm on this device with a dying battery, so we'll see how long it lasts.
Play
Yeah.
fast.
Okay, yeah. No, I think it's good. It's over 10. Yeah, I think it'll be good. I'm working on a new project where I think that the world needed a new word, and so I created this word called yesternow, and I've been writing a series of poems about it, and I also I've been working on a song called Yesternow too, and I have to go over my desk really quick. I'll play the song first, but I think I'm good here. If I could just tell this little story, and then if time, I'll go grab it. I don't think I've played the song enough, but maybe I'll read a poem from it. This over on my desk. But I'm gonna do either "You Will Never Be Lonely Again" or "Forever Hums." You want to pick one?
Forever Howell Hung.
Forever Hum. Okay. Forever Hum. And but yesternow, to finish that little story, is basically there's we go through life and we live, and there's like the past and where we came from and what told us who we are, what we are, why we are, and we live in this time thing where the future and the past are constantly dictating to us who and what and why we are. And then there's just the moment, that everything is in the moment. And yet there's very little bridge between the two worlds, or a way of expressing that all the future, the present, the past really lives in the present, but it doesn't exclude the like a doorway between the two, or a threshold, or the way to get there. And that word is yesternow. But this is one of the first songs, and I'll do this one here. No, there goes. I think it's this one. Let me make sure that the sound is on. Okay. All right, here goes. Forever Hum. Life is only death, but not forever. Rivers only water, not dry bones. And love, you see, love is only everything is a miracle. And you and I, the song forever hum. And noon is only midnight as the world dreams. And time is only clocks, not broken yet. And a knife is just a tool, a useful, kind one, that no one ever needs to harm true love with. And a man is just a womb without a gravestone. And a child's only tears to laugh. And aging is just a series of soul lessons. As if all moments equal one lifespan. Well, hunger is the price of dreams become form. And thirst reminds the oceans they're not sky. And eyes and ears are always learning to feel. Further than you see why. You are here. While the ground of love is only all the sky knows. Where sight becomes how beauty lets the blind see. Where visions lift the heart up and rest in peace there. Where you can catch your last breath and walk your soul home. You see, life is only death, but not forever. And rivers only water, not dry bones. You see, love is only everything is a miracle. And you and I, the song forever hum. You want a poem?
Go ahead.
All right, let me real quick. Okay. This one's just out of the printer. All right, so I'll do this one here. This is one of the earlier ones. It's called Mind. I have never read this out loud, so I don't know. full of the pursuit of emptying into bliss, actual peace of mind resting here, harmless and unharmed, aware of the cellular being you are. Every molecule listens to you are listening, to a life-sustaining hum of synchronicity kissing chaos on the lips, merging you and your immediate environment with creation's dance, taking no form of life for granted in the receivership of your own house of organs, within the deep grace of one's own wholeness, aligned to sing the harvest of your soul's intent. As miracles learn to emanate from each seedling of thought, your non-violent relationship conducting the present here on the living precipice of dichotomy's end, upon the equilibrium of being, both within and without the house flesh of your living body, unobtrusively participating with peace on earth, in harmony with the inevitable sharing of now. That's mined from thing, and I'm going to be starting to publish again after 20 years, because I have now the basic equipment to create chapbooks at home. A color printer, a saddle thing to staple it, and to trim it. So the first person I'm publishing is Kathleen, who helped me put my book together after 20 years, which is at my website, The Open Microphone, which I read at Stone Soup many, many times, and it's an early incarnation. And it's back together as one book, ccrshagra.com. The book is there. So thank you for everyone who orders that. It's subtitled Human Rights, Free Speech, and the Voice. And thanks to Stone Soup and Jack, that's, upward between 1,500 and 2,000 open mics I went to in 10 years that created that. And then waiting 20 years to put them together. And I listed it as a social science. It's a study of free speech. What happens to when we do this? And it include going to Club Passemes and Jeff Robinson and Downstairs and the Lizard Lounge and Liberty Cafe and all those open mics that opened up that went from 3 a week to 30 a week before I left the Boston area in around 05, 06 and went out Washington. Now I'm back in Connecticut. So thank you all. I appreciate the time. And I have 6% left on my battery. Thank you.
Thank you, CC. Those of you guys who can stay for the second round, please do. Second final round. We're going on. We're going to start from the beginning again with Rita Rusty Rose, if she wants to read.
Yes, and again in memory of Nancy, I'm going to read a poem. I fell asleep in the library. I fell asleep in the library, arms about Colette. H.G. Wells popped in, advised time travel. Destination, Café de Fleur. Oscar Wilde greeted us and suggested we write a collaborative play. Hemingway dropped by, hinted the setting be on a boat. Wordsworth envisioned romantic scenery. Mary Shelley demanded something monstrous. Gertrude offered a modernist backdrop of roses, roses. Sylvia Plath stared in her mirror, insisted upon a tragic ending. Capote proposed breakfast at Tiffany's. Picasso sketched me with a double nose. Startled, I awoke. Inspired and driven by my favorite artist, I pen a satirical comedy about my drowsy hobnobbing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. I think Plath would want the tragic ending. Anne Sexton would want more love scenes. But anyway, but that's just my thought process. Okay, more love scenes and then a tragic ending. But anyway, let's go now to Jan Rowe, if you're ready.
Quick thank you. Hi, Jan. Real quick. Thank you, Ethan. I didn't know that. I've been asking all around. Is the word out there? I'll check it out. Miles, cool.
Rusty, it's on. Nancy Dodson gave James and me our first annual membership to the private library in Boston, the Athenaeum. She got us going. Isn't that something?
Yeah, I remember reading that poem, and she liked it. It was in its infancy,
Yeah.
and she enjoyed that. So that's why I read it for her tonight.
Okay. This piece is in process because I've been going to the legislative breakfast for years. Mass Coalition for the Homeless has it, and I may be seeing if they need any speakers, and I may be submitting something like this. Thank you to the Mass Coalition for the Homeless for this wonderful breakfast, encouraging speakers, and help speaking with legislators. Moreover, Mass Coalition for the Homeless meets on Zoom, usually the final Friday of the month for about 1.5 to 2 hours. The gatherings were originally at Church on the Hill, Swedenborgian, across from the State House, but we have outgrown that space as we have spread across the state. And we have learned from various speakers attending these final Friday gatherings, like Gateway Cities. They want 57 million from the state this year and 30 million each year thereafter to build $4,000 a month units. Outrageous, you say. However, they've already built 4,000 of them. Then we have John LaBella talking to us. He created Housing Works that anybody can search. And he creates the city lotteries. We heard from the Department of Housing and Community Development how to help with rent arrears, how to avoid evictions at housing court, how to keep kids' names off the eviction list. So thank you, Mass Coalition for the Homeless, and the legislators for having us here in the Great Hall for breakfast. Thank you. I'm working on it.
Don't stop. Thank you, Jan. And let's go, before he's got to bring the chickens home for the night, let's bring up Mr. Bill Lewis.
Woo!
Oh.
Woo! Just made it. Yeah. So anyway, they are all in and they are happy as clams or happy as chickens or whatever it is. And oh, what did I want to share? Where was that wonderful thing? I mean, that is the background. That's where we were hanging out. It was so wonderful. And it wasn't much of anybody there. We just our own little beach if we didn't drown. And of course, there we go, San Juan, the fort. Oh, they had marvelous times there, great noble battles. And that's was really cool. And so we had one party, those guys are on giant stilts. It's like, I don't know how they do it. Those stilts are 75 feet high or close to that. But finally, they have La Parca de las Palomas, the Park of the Pigeons. They sell you a little bag of pigeon food and the birds just go bonkers. And you can have 20 pigeons crawling all over you to get that food. But I like pigeons, so I was happy with that. And I wonder, it is possible that one of these pigeons here could be my great grand pigeon, because I had pigeons when I was in college. And so I like to imagine that that's my grand pigeon. Oh, well. Let's go back to there's my room and everything and cool stuff. And okay, Zen-like. What do you say that you feel the presence of the great poet? I once had a cow who jumped over the moon. Not onto the moon, but over. I don't know what made her do such a thing. All she'd been having was clover. That was back in the days of my godmother goose. And though we are goosier now, and all chalked up on mineral juice, we still haven't caught up with my cow. And that was published by Robert Frost somewhere before 1968. And I am impressed with how wonderful things are going. I listened to those ads that Obama and Biden are doing together. I'm trying to be cool about it and like, okay, so remember, Obamacare is working. We have universal health care. Unemployment is down to 4%. Everything is being taken care of. We have plenty of rooms for the migrants. There are no major problems here at all. And of course, I sort of growl at that. I don't quite see it all as rosy as my very woke friends do, but oh well, we get to be critical of each other, don't we? When migrants came to the border, we are the ones who cheered them in. We passed the laws and wrote the decrees welcoming everyone. We are the good people. Just think, vast tracts of government, housing, and vibrant communities where these noble heroes can reside, somewhere in Texas and Arizona. Kansas is a good place. Somewhere south where they will be more comfortable, far from here. We don't have room here. I mean, if we did it by population, do you know, Cambridge would be having to house 1,000 people a year. Now, Nebraska, they have a lot of open space in Nebraska.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bill Lewis. I believe Mr. Ken Johnson is up next, or Mr. Mookie Johnson, if he so wishes, or maybe he's gone. Oh, there he is. There's Mookie. Or do you want to hold off? Do you want to pass? I can't hear you at all because you're unmuted, not unmuted yet. But I'm assuming you're passing. And again, you're still muted. If this is a lip sync contest,
There, I got it. Am I unmuted?
Yes, you're unmuted.
Finally. Okay.
I was
Thanks
going to
for-
lose the lip reading contest.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe sign language would do better next time. Sorry. Oh, I should have remembered I came after him. But anyway, I will now give you all the test. You are walking, perhaps in a dream, but this is not about that. Some think life is a dream, but then what is reality? Start again. You are walking. You find a laundry marker. You are not Christopher Walken. You are walking. And you come to the top of a hill before the vista of a chasm where a sign says, drawbridge. And now the path back is gone on the acme of a pinnacle of jagged cliffs. You'd be surprised how many people fail this test. Anyone answer?
I don't know how many people are going to get this, but I thought you were doing a Blade Runner reference.
I got it.
I was waiting for you to say, and then you see a turtle in the middle of the desert.
I do
upside
not
down.
believe Harrison Ford was a replicant. He was just a flat foot doing a job. But everybody wants to go haywire, and you can't talk them out of it anymore.
Ah,
Anyway, the answer should probably be 42. So I think the answer is 42.
hey, keep your Douglas Adams out of our Philip K. Dick. Anyway,
I asked for an answer. At least he gave one. It's the wrong one, but at least he had the balls to speak up. Grant him that.
I just had Blade Runner in there. I was my answer is I kicked the turtle back upside right side up, but
You are crazy, Chadford. You are crazy. You should be in an insane asylum.
I'm with you guys, aren't I? Fuck it. Anyway, thank you so much, Mr. Mookie Johnson. And let's see if Brian Franco wants to do a quick read for a poem, wants to do a second round.
Certainly. Should I do a short one and a medium
Yeah.
one?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. So, someone did something about cows. So I thought I'd do this. What we don't know, the cows know about us. I slept so erratically, I pulled the bottom right-hand corner of the contour sheet from the bed. It was a cold enough morning for me to spend an extra 2 or 3 minutes soaking in the hot of the shower. I dried off, dressed, took my morning pills, ate a banana, and grabbed a cup of hot tea. I drove to the Saturday farmer's market. No one was there because it was Monday. There were 3 cows in the field across the road. They weren't looking at me, but I knew they were looking at me when I wasn't looking at them, aware of the mistake I had made, telling one another, look, another human who forgot what day it was. And I want to do this. It's called Why Sophia Can't Get Enough of Marrakesh. At the old school bookstore next door to your neighborhood coffee shop, you find an obscure poetry journal from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. You read a poem on page 23 whose syllabic rhythm skips to a beat like a shiny, slick rock. Skip, skip, skips across a lake on a lazy summer day. You imagine a poet reading the poem backed by a man slowly plucking strings on an upright bass shaped like a voluptuous woman. You find yourself snapping your fingers and tapping your feet to the poem as if it were a song stuck in your head. It's hooked in your mind, repeating to a beat, to a beat, to a beat, till you find yourself in a dingy basement jazz joint tucked away at Bleak Street. And you think about that poem you read in that hole-in-the-wall coffee shop run by a man from Morocco, where tea is served in metal-adorned glass cups with fresh mint leaves, and coffee is brewed with water infused with mace, cardamom, and cinnamon from Ceylon. There's a sign near the antique brass cash register. If you want whipped cream with coffee, go to Starbucks. It never fails to make you laugh, letting the man from Morocco know his sense of humor has found your sense of humor's G spot. So you sit at a wobbly wooden table, gripping your scotch on the rocks. The ice jingles against the glass. A man on an upright bass shaped like Sophia Loren plucks at strings, setting a beat for a drummer to tap his skins and cymbals with feathered sticks. A woman pulls the slide on her trombone. Her cheeks expand to full bullfrog. She exhales into brass. You sip your scotch, your throat is bathed in warmth. You open your eyes to witness a trio of noises that is nothing less than poetry. Thank you.
Thank you, Generalissimo. And now we have James Van Looy coming up around again.
Hi.
Hello.
So I've got a piece here. Called They Said. They said it would snow, but it's still raining. The last high tide was a prophecy of floods to come, but the U.S. Congress still struggles to pass about $100 billion to fund more wars in Israel, where active genocide's ongoing, In Ukraine, already fought to the last Ukrainian. In Taiwan, where recent election changed nothing. Geography is politics, and politics never changes except the way we're going can't go on forever. Such a long time forever is lost. But each night I walk the hills of Dorchester and check the level of the Neponset River to see what the winter rains and the rising tides have done to the embankments and foundation along the watercourse, where I see robins already back in February. And I keep thinking about St. John, probably John the Baptist, in this statue I saw at Jan's Kirk, originally a monastery in the center of Haarlem, Holland, where my grandparents immigrated from in 1907. Every time I go back there, I get pulled into a time warp and float around the old city like I'm finally home. And I know everyone, and they know me too, although I'm quite sure there's no way we can ever really recognize our relations. You and I in a little toy shop, buy a bag of balloons with the money we've got, set them free at the break of dawn, till one by one they were gone. Back at the base, bugs and software flash the message, something's out there floating in the summer sky. 99 red balloons go by, 99 red balloons floating in the summer sky. Panic bells, it's red alert, there's something here from somewhere else. The war machine, it springs to life, opens up one eager eye, focusing it on the sky as 99 red balloons go by. 99 Decision Street, 99 ministers meet to worry, super scurry, call out troops now in a hurry. This is what we've waited for. This is it, boys. This is war. The president is on the line as 99 red balloons go by. 99 dreams I have had, and every one a red balloon. It's all over, and I'm standing pretty in this dust that was a city. If I could find a souvenir just to prove the world was here, and here it is, a red balloon. I think of you and let it go. Thank you.
Sorry. Anyway, let's go now to Mr. Jeff Taylor if he's still here. Oh, he might not be here. I think he left. Too bad. Let's have CCO Shagar finish us off then, if he's so willing. If he's at 3% power.
Yep, we're still rolling. All right, I'll do the other one I mentioned. This one's called You Will Never Be Lonely Again. I really love that song that Jeff did. I mean, that poem. It's good, really good work. It's time to ask the question. Who do you share you're all alone with? If the answer is no one, and everything. You will never be lonely again. True sharing has no expectations. There's no sense of a debt owed or a debt involved. Nothing's overdue, nothing's hurt or angry, that's impossible. For all disappointments in the end are held by you. The secret set free is the quiet of happiness. In the quiet of each and every mind alone. There's no need to believe that it's blame's fault. And there's no such thing as happiness cannot find you. It's okay to see the ways you can deny this. As the only thing you will never question. It's okay that each and every moment lives here. Sure, death comes, but love itself lives on forever. That was for Nancy. I just found that out today. Love's hand always waits here to catch you. Fear free falls. Hate itself becomes creation. Hate has no net as you become creation. Dying is not real here. This is transcendence. You're as honest as all truths dying, and now here comes your next breath. Where it's time to ask the question, who do you share you're all alone with? If the answer is no one, everyone and everything, And thank you, Jan, for all the work you do with the homeless. I appreciate that. And let's see. This is another one from the Yester now. This was also an earlier one. It's called Wondering About the Dawn. When beyond knowing for a fact you are lost, inside knowing only what you can see, hear, taste, smell, and touch. Why? To commoditize, to exploit, to expropriate, to monetize. The thought of you will no longer be here is unavoidable. And there you are, no longer of or with all tangible life. Then it dawns on you, this is your funeral. I love it. I love making James happy. And that makes making James happy makes me happy.
Thank you so much, CC, and
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who came out to tonight's open mic, and RIP Nancy Dodson, 1933.
When did Nancy pass?
February 5th.
February 5th. Oh wow.
Yeah,
It was Kathleen's birthday. Okay.
So, and hopefully there'll be more information passed on to us, whether it's when Nancy's life will be celebrated or how to grab her books. Apparently her collections are at the Groliers. If you want contact and ask, you can grab them, or you can just go down to Groliers if you're in the area. So thanks so much to you, Nancy, and thanks to everyone who came out. And I hope you guys have a great evening tonight. And have, well, hard to wave with the hat like that. So we'll just do it. Palm front wave. There we go. That's what works for us. Thank you guys so much. And goodbye, Nancy. We'll miss you. And take care of you. You guys take care of yourselves. Take care of someone else. And condolences and love go out to you, Carol West and John Galloway. Hopefully we'll hear from you and not just have you as the listeners, but hopefully we'll hear from you next week.
Hi, Carol. Hi, John.
Thank you guys very
everyone.
much.
Thanks
Have
to the
yourselves an
battery guy.
excellent evening, the best evening you can under circumstances, and we'll see you soon. Catch the video tomorrow. Take care.